Hey everyone, it's Rachel and I have a process video for you. It is a Christmas layout. Now this may come out in August. I may decide to hold it and it'll come out closer to the Christmas season. I don't know. It'll be a surprise for both of us. I'm going to be working with 'Tis the Season from Ellie's Studio, and I had this as part of the Scrap Room kit. The Scrap Room is the website, thescraproom.com. I subscribed to their kits for a little while, and it's nice. What they do is you can either do a set of 4 lines or a set of 2 lines, and you get just a little taste, enough to do 2 to 3 layouts per line, depending on whether you do a single page or double pages and stuff like that. So I have this left over. So this is from their either November or December 2016 month that it came out. And so I'm going to go ahead and get you on fast forward. I've got these 2 4x6 photos of my very naughty cat, Miss Xanthi. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started on that, and I'm going to put you on fast forward. Just remember, it might get a little louder with the volume depending on whether or not I've managed to fix it correctly. All right, let's go.
All right, I don't remember if I said or not, so I will just repeat it. This is Ellie's Studio, 'Tis the Season. This is their Christmas release from 2016. I'm going to go ahead and use this wood grain paper as my background. Because this is the Scrap Room kit, there isn't a ton of pattern paper. Like, I didn't buy the whole line. It just comes with 3 or 4 pieces of pattern paper, and I've already made a layout using this. So I am going to use that bold striped multi-patterned paper as a big vertical block on my layout, and then I decided I'm going to border my entire layout with this red cardstock, so I trimmed down that wood grain paper. So now I think about doing on 2 sides, but I'm like, no, I'm just going to center it. So once I get this down, this is pretty much my layout, because my title is on the longish side, and I try really hard to mat these photos with this green stripe paper, but because I used it to do a cut file, it's just too short to do it so that the stripes run horizontal, and the stripes are too thick for me to use. If they're going to run vertical, it would look ridiculous. So I considered doing just 1 photo, but I'm like, oh, I don't know. Neither photo is more important than the other one. So in the end, I just end up not matting either one and just moving on to something else. So I'm going to trim out using my little swing line cutter, one of those little tags from the Ellie Studio 'Tis the Season. And that might have come in the kit, or I might have just purchased that separately. I honestly don't remember. Now, usually if I'm doing this type of matting, I will cut out the center of the cardstock or the pattern paper, but honestly, I'm probably never ever going to use red cardstock other than for this particular purpose, so I just go ahead and use the whole thing. And then I place my photos at a jaunty angle just for a little bit of interest. So I'm going through what came in my Scrap Room kit, and I also had pulled out some wood veneer from, I keep an iris container with all of my Christmas stuff in it. So some of those they're all Ellie Studio, but some of them are from 'Tis the Season, and some of them are from their previous year's release, Good Cheer. So I've pulled out several different styles of thickers, and my original idea was to do mixed fonts. And as I started pulling out this first one, which is Alex from an Amy Tangerine line, I believe Rise and Shine, so it's a couple years old. I had bought 1 package, and then I got another package as part of a grab bag kit I bought. I decide, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and use this font for the entire title. I did have to jury rig a little dot for that question mark because I could not, it was missing from the question mark, so I just, I think I took a comma and just made a chopped off the little hangy edge and made a little square. So I am going to go ahead and, as you can see, my title is Guess Who's on the Naughty List. In case you are wondering, that is my cat, and she is crawling through all of the presents underneath the Christmas tree. And I want to point out specifically that she did not bother sitting under the Christmas tree for the week or so where there was no presents under there. It was only once we started putting presents under there that she decided it was worth her time. So you'll see in that second photo, we ended up having to move all the presents up against the wall, like on the back and the sides of the tree, so she'd have a place to lay down. I have jumped forward to having all of my title glued down because that takes a little while. I will not lie. These are chipboard thickers, so you do have to add glue to them. They have almost no stick to them whatsoever, so I did cut away from that. Now I do take these plus signs, these that also came in the Alex Alpha, and I add them to 2 of my embellishment clusters. My third one is actually going to go right where I'm placing that tag right now. And these are small embellishment clusters because my papers are so bold. And my title is so large, I didn't necessarily feel the need to over embellish, which I know is unusual for me. So as I mentioned before, I've got the wood veneer from 2 different LE Studio lines, that tree, that star, and then I have an ornament down at the bottom of my photos. It is not going to stay there. It's actually going to end up over by that tree. Now I find with wood veneer, with this particular kind of wood veneer, where it's the super, super thin kind, it's almost like balsa wood, it's actually preferable to use a dry adhesive like my ATG rather than my wet glue, my Scotch tacky glue, because it just soaks into that type of wood and it just does not end up sticking to the paper behind it. So I also added that little tag, and that is from LA Studio as well. Everything except the Alpha, and then these what are they called? Enamel dots. Hello, enamel dots. are from LA Studio. I'm going to add some Shimmer's Mist in concrete, and I'm like, oh yes, I need to do my journaling. And I'm just talking about what a naughty girl she was climbing under the tree only once the presents were added. That is going to finish up my layout for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me here. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. If you can flick me a thumbs up, that would be super awesome. Thanks so much for joining me here. Bye!